In the charming coastal town of Seabrook, Maine, Jennifer and Mark Bennett seemed to have it all. Married for 12 years, they had 2 children, Evan, 10, and Sophie, 7, and a spacious home near the water. Mark worked as a software engineer, quiet and disciplined, while Jennifer ran a successful local bakery, known for its handmade pies and warm atmosphere. From the outside, their life looked idyllic. Neighbors often saw them at school events, church picnics, and weekend farmers markets, holding hands and laughing. But behind the white picket facade, Jennifer's restlessness was growing, and soon, it would shatter everything. Jennifer had always been ambitious. She dreamed of expanding the bakery, traveling, and recapturing the passion she and Mark once shared. But Mark, content with routine, grew more distant over the years. He worked long hours, came home exhausted, and often fell asleep on the couch. In 2024, a new face entered Jennifer's life. Ryan Caldwell, a 35-year-old food supplier who delivered fresh produce to her bakery. Ryan was charming, funny, and flirtatious, the kind of man who noticed her new haircut or asked how her day was going. The harmless flirting quickly deepened. Late-night texts turned into secret coffee dates, then into hotel room rendezvous. Jennifer convinced herself it was just an escape until it wasn't. Mark noticed the changes. Jennifer dressed up more often, kept her phone glued to her side, and worked late at the bakery even when there was no need. She was distant at home, snapping at small things and avoiding intimacy. One night, while Jennifer was showering, Mark's suspicions overcame his better judgment. He checked her phone, and what he found left him shaking. Dozens of texts from Ryan: "Can't wait to see you again, beautiful. Last night was incredible." Mark didn't confront her immediately. Instead, he began tracking her movements, noting when she left the house and when she came home. Quiet, calculating, waiting. On March 15, 2025, Mark finally confronted Jennifer in their kitchen. "I know," he said simply, holding up her phone. Jennifer froze, the color draining from her face. At first, she tried to lie, then the tears came, followed by apologies, excuses, and promises. Mark was devastated but controlled. He told her to leave the house for a few days while he figured out what to do. Jennifer packed a small bag and went to stay with a friend. But Mark's devastation was twisting into something darker. 3 days later, Jennifer returned home to pick up clothes and talk. She texted her friend around 6 p.m. to say, "Heading over to Mark's. Pray for me." She was never heard from again. By midnight, Jennifer's friend grew alarmed and called Mark. He claimed Jennifer had left hours earlier after a tense but calm conversation. But her car was still in the driveway. The next morning, police were called. The police treated it as a missing persons case at first. Mark appeared on local news, pleading for Jennifer to come home. But detectives soon uncovered cracks in his story. Security cameras from a neighbor's house showed Jennifer arriving but not leaving. Mark's phone records showed no outgoing calls or texts during the window he claimed they argued and she left. Cadavered dogs picked up a scent in the garage. 2 days later, investigators found Jennifer's body buried in a shallow grave in the nearby woods. She had been strangled. The evidence was overwhelming: fingerprints on the garbage bags, traces of Jennifer's blood in the garage, and Mark's search history, which included phrases like "how to dispose of a body" and "can you survive being strangled?" Mark was arrested at his workplace without incident. Under questioning, he confessed, but claimed he just snapped. According to his statement, Jennifer told him she was leaving him for Ryan. In a moment of rage, Mark attacked her, then panicked, wrapping her body in plastic and burying her under cover of night. The trial gripped the town and attracted national media. The prosecution painted Mark as a cold, calculating killer who couldn't handle the loss of control. The defense argued temporary insanity, claiming years of emotional neglect and betrayal pushed him to the breaking point. Ryan Caldwell testified, visibly shaken. He admitted to the affair but said he never intended for Jennifer to leave her family. Jennifer's parents sat in the front row every day, heartbroken not only by their daughter's murder but by the collapse of a family they once adored. After 6 days of deliberation, the jury returned a guilty verdict on second-degree murder. Mark was sentenced to 35 years in prison, with no possibility of parole for 20 years. The judge, during sentencing, told Mark, "You had every opportunity to walk away. Instead, you made a choice that destroyed your family and shattered lives." Jennifer's children went to live with her parents. The bakery was sold, and the house that once hosted birthday parties and Christmas mornings stood empty. Ryan Caldwell left town quietly, forever marked by the scandal. The residents of Seabrook struggled to reconcile the Mark they thought they knew with the man who had murdered his wife. Friends replayed the past in their minds, wondering what signs they had missed. True crime experts often say affairs don't kill marriages, the secrets do. In Jennifer and Mark's case, secrecy festered into resentment, resentment turned into rage, and rage turned into tragedy. The story remains a cautionary tale: when communication fails, when hurt is buried instead of faced, when betrayal replaces honesty, the consequences can be fatal. Closing reflection. In the end, the Bennett story.